Hi guys. So today I'm doing my presentation on my literary review on using emerging technology to improve distance learning. So 2 years ago I stood at a crossroads and I was undecided on what master's degree to obtain and go after. And it was either getting a degree in illustration and graphic design or just something different. I knew that I had taken half of my bachelor's degree online, and I took a few art and design courses that were lacking and were not engaging, and did not feel like a in-person class at all. So I felt that that was a disservice to me as a student. So I felt that if I continued my graphic design and illustration degree, I still wouldn't know any emerging technology to make a solution for that problem, which I thought was not only me going through it, but a lot of students in the fine arts and illustration and graphic design distance learning degrees as well. So, in the past year, we've noticed how distance learning became more than a commodity. It's now a necessity. It is the only way most students are obtaining their education. So we know it's now gaining more attention and it's becoming more important. So I first really need to explain what emerging technology is. So emerging technology is really anything that is upcoming and it's new and it's refreshing, and really even virtual environments, even though they have been around since the 1980s, are still considered an emerging technology because it hasn't really been exploded and explored the way it should be in education. And one of the most amazing programs and apps that I have found that help engage in students in education and in distance learning has been the mobile app of Eco Mobile, and it was developed by university professor Christine, and she's been exploring and studying immersion and learning technologies for 20 years. And so the program is designed for middle schools, but it can be applied for students in all ages. Okay, so basically she is a science teacher or professor, well actually teacher, and she has developed this app where she is teaching her students about the forest and water and producers and all of that. So she has her students learn the basics of the program in a computer, okay, which they can do from home now. And the most important thing is that she has developed a mobile app which they can download onto their phone or tablet, and they can go out in this designated area where they have developed this perimeter where the students can use their phone as a way to hit hotspots. So these hotspots are going to give them information on water and producers and different parts of the forest that they need to be studying in their science class. They can also take water samples and take notes and make theories and hypotheses. Okay, and when it was developed, it was of course done in groups. But right now, because of COVID, they can no longer go out in groups unless they're wearing a mask, which that could happen. But the mobile app was designed for students to interact and have a social learning and social interaction. But it could still be done because students can still meet and share their ideas through either dojo class or some kind of social media educational page where they can share their results and put out their theories and all that. Okay, so the main thing about this is that Professor Dewey says that students are participating in what they learn in the classroom and experiencing it firsthand. So they're actually using tools that scientists are using in the real world. So they're learning that, and students are not just learning about science in the classroom and reading it off of a textbook, which is very hard for a lot of students. They're actually going out in the forest, walking around and seeing the samples that they need to take and seeing, what in the in the real world, things that they're supposed to be studying and learning about. Okay, so it isn't until a person converses with one another or a group of people that they will learn conversation skills and conjugation knowledge. The social interaction and context is necessary to fully understand as such. Okay? So, I knew that I wanted to teach eventually, at some point at a community college level, doing introductory lessons on 2D design, drawing, painting, and digital illustration. Okay? So, I'm using backwards planning, and I designed and I put out there what the courses that I took during my bachelor's were missing. And so what they were missing was a demonstration by the professor. They were not they did not have instructional videos, and they did not have a drawing assignment or a formative assessment throughout the course, so that I could test my skills as I was learning. And actually, in fact, I wasn't even learning any new skills. I was just using the skills that I already had. And I didn't submit my work in periodically. I would submit all of my assignments at once at the end, and then I would get some kind of grade. I wouldn't even get some kind of feedback or critique on my work or anything like that. So I felt it was important, even if I was conducting an independent study, to have an actual class set up, either in Google Class or in Moodle or in Class Dojo, where students felt that they were in a real class and they could go over their assignments instead of just going through some kind of syllabus or something like that. And I would do instructional videos where I would do demonstration either of digital tools or of actual tools like drawing tools or painting tools. And this would be edited in a puzzle where they would be having formative assessments throughout the video, so they could test their skills and see, and that could actually guide my instruction and see what were problem areas of the lesson. Part of the lessons, part of the class, at the end of each lesson, they would have to submit an assignment, and I would upload their assignment, and the students will be required to come to a actual critique. So we will meet in the virtual environment that I have developed specifically for this course, and we would conduct a critique. So this is where they would be able to practice their vocabulary. They would be able to learn from each other, learn that, and come up with ideas and suggestions that they wouldn't have thought of unless they have had this social interaction with their peers. So they would have the critique, they would practice their vocabulary, and they would get ideas for their own work. In the virtual environment, there's also a scavenger hunt that I have set up. It's an art scavenger hunt. And so scavenger hunts, it allows for problem solving in a tangible way. It reinforces and acts out methods that they have been taught by teachers in a physical way, leading to increased retention of lessons. So they will go around the island and work in teams, and they will find these paintings and take a photograph of these paintings and do a little bit of research in these paintings, and also see how the lesson that we have learned throughout the concepts we have learned throughout that lesson applies to this painting. They will also be assigned their own studio, which is a brickstone building. They will learn how to edit, how to manipulate, and how to personalize their own studios, and that would be their own working space. And with this, they will be learning new skills, and it's a more interactive way for them to be tested on their new skills and building in the three-dimensional world. Okay, so this is really important because, not only are we seeing that distance learning is becoming a necessity, but emergent technology and virtual reality is expected, to grow to a 700 million industry by 2025. 97% of students would like to study a VR course. So it's something that's growing exponentially, and it's something that schools of all stages really need to invest on and invest time on, because this is where education is going. And specifically, virtual environments provide opportunities for experiencing experiential learning outside the lecture hall for all students at any time. So these virtual environments are open anytime. So students can come in and work in groups at any time, and they can have that social interaction, that social learning anytime. So it's a little bit of an enhancement to the flexibility of distance learning. Okay, so what I intend to do and this research and literary review for me has been to really focus on how we can bridge the disconnect in our distance learning courses, especially in art education, because for other courses, it might just be enough to have an assignment completed, handed in, and have your professor give you a grade. But for art education, it's so crucial, and it's always under stress. Art education is always the first one to get caught, and it's really the one that gives the students that out-of-the-box thinking and critical thinking skills. So in order for them to be successful in any other subject, they need to be able to think outside the box. And art education is going to give them that ability. So we really need to invest more time in how to make arts education and distance learning in arts education more like the in-person class, because we're missing out, and it's really being at the service to students, especially in higher education where they have to pay and get student loans to invest in their education, and they're not really getting the same benefits, and they're not learning vocabulary, and they're not learning so many important topics on art education than they would in in-person class. Thank you.